So congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us, Alan.
Many thanks. Have a great day.
All righty, you too. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break, and then we are going to be talking about to somebody a little bit closer to home here in Florida, up in Orlando at the Reunion Resort, and that would be Kevin Baker. Find out a little bit more about my opportunity to play there yesterday, and how you can have an opportunity to get up there and play it as well, because it's a great property, and you really need to check it out. So we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show in just a moment, so please stay tuned.
Cinderella story, out of nowhere. A former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
I ride fly, call me chocolate thunder, and I got good two going 4 strokes under. Get out the way if you want to go play, cause I give it my all.
And we're back. It's time for another quick message from our sponsor, Labor Finders. If your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you got to call Labor Finders. Labor Finders places for temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, hospitality workers, office clerical, and so much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and in Jupiter. So if you need legal insured workers, or if you're looking for work, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or visit laborfinders.com. And we are back, and bring it a little bit closer to home. Rather than talking about the entire world, we're going to talk about possibly the number one tourist place in the world, which is just up the road a piece in Orlando, and a place that I have had an opportunity to stay at once or twice and play at many more times than that. And that would be Reunion Resort, which is just a wonderful facility. And rather than just me telling you all about it, it's always best to get an expert. So without further ado, the director of golf at the Reunion Resort, none other than Kevin Baker. Kevin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
I know that actually you had mentioned to me that you were going to be out and about tonight. And or did you end up at Epcot where you said you were going tonight?
Yeah, actually, Epcot ended up being tomorrow night. We decided to go to my daughter's high school football game. She's supporting the last game of the year, so
there you go.
Epcot on the docket for tomorrow, but sitting here at the football game tonight.
Well, for those of you who are fortunate to live in Orlando, then you could do things like Epcot anytime you want. For the rest of you who are listening, you need to go and stay near Epcot, which is why we're telling you all about Reunion tonight. But so in any event, I had the opportunity to play yesterday the Watson course. I've played it a few times in the past, and I've played all of the golf courses over there, but the Watson is certainly one of my favorites. It's a great layout. But rather than me talking about it and telling you what a great time I had, why don't you give everybody, we'll start with golf since that's your main focus. Why don't you explain a little bit about the golf facilities available at Reunion Resort?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Reunion Resort, it's a 54-hole complex, 3 awesome designers, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Tom Watson. Like you said, you played the Watson golf course. The nice thing about the golf course is that they're all equally different. As you know, playing that Watson course, it's not your typical Floridian-style golf course.
No.
It's a really, really cool setup. It's his first design that he put together in the state of Florida. Spent a lot of time on it. It's been open for good 12 years, and he was really active in the design stage.
He obviously likes sand.
Oh, yeah.
I experienced quite a bit of it, but it was well manicured, so it was easy to get out with a decent swing. So thank you for that, at least.
Yeah, you definitely, in Florida, it's, typical golf course you play with a lot of water hazards, and like you said, you replaced all those water hazards with bunkers. So we do have 164 bunkers out there. It can throw you for a few curveballs, per se.
It sure can. And I'd like to add that the conditioning was really excellent. The greens were rolling beautifully, and it was just in lovely shape out there. And I know that that's not easy. We have all sorts of weather issues here in Florida, and the tropical with insects and everything else, and people don't realize how hard it is to maintain courses, to that level of play the way you had it out there. So kudos to you and your crew for keeping it in such beautiful shape. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about some of the other two courses that I didn't get a chance to play this time?
Yeah, so thanks for the comment about the course conditions. So the Arnold Palmer design, great design, typical Palmer design where you can hit it, kind of off the tee a little bit, I wouldn't say errant, but it has you allow you to have a little bit larger, wider fairways. Has some really good green complexes, some nice elevation changes, which you don't really usually see in Florida. Then our Nicklaus design, I would say it's a marry between both golf courses. It's definitely our toughest course. A lot of typical green complexes that Mr. Nicklaus likes to build. I would say it's almost a throwback, smaller greens, a lot of bunkering. As for those of you that have played some of the Nicklaus designs, a lot of bunkering out there. Sometimes you get those pesky bunkers down the middle of the fairway, which has a few of those.
Or how about the fake ones that from a distance it looks like it's right alongside the green, and then you get there and you find out that there's a whole bunch of space in between the bunker and the green.
Oh yeah, he definitely throws a few of those at you, and which is more. I was fortunate enough to be out there when he came for the initial walkthrough and the design and build of the golf course, and it's fascinating how, from an awesome player that he was, is that just like what you said, placed in bunkers for people to go shoot for. For the club members that play in and out every day.
Sure,
they play those where they have to, but it's all three courses. If you were to ask 10 golfers across the board, high handicaps, low handicaps, male, female, we would literally get a third of each demographic in each golf course, which is really good about a resort. Sometimes you get that golf course that has the super tough golf course and nobody likes to play, or the one that's maybe the B course of the whole resorts, and they don't typically like to play that one. They always want to play the we'll call it the marquee course. All the courses here are equally as challenging, and the likability and all of them are all equal, which is really important for us when we design the golf courses.
Well, it's also nice to have the convenience of having three different courses all in one spot, so that you don't have to drive around to play three different courses if you're coming in for a couple of days or whatever. Now, another thing that's interesting, and I'm not 100% familiar with it, is the accommodations. I haven't had an opportunity to stay at the hotel, and it's a beautiful hotel. I have stayed in some of your condos that you have, and I know that that's kind of a cool concept when you have a foursome of guys that maybe want to stay together, get a card game going, so you have your a kitchen table or a dining room table that you could play at. So why don't you explain a little bit about some of the groups of guys or gals that want to come for a serious couple of days of golf?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our products are, I'll call it condominium-based or home-based. We have one-bedroom, really nice, super high-end, fancy condos at that building you were talking about. They have full-size kitchens. We're talking marble tops and all the appliances, all the way up to 12-bedroom, we'll call it estate homes, where literally they have putting greens on the second floor. They got outdoor cookeries, all kinds of neat features for those golfers. But when a golfer comes back to Reunion, we get a lot of our repeat guests come back all the time. They come back obviously for the golf, but more importantly, they also come back to the accommodations. So just like how you said before, when you have these groups of foursomes, eightsomes that come out there, you go to that typical resort that has hotel products, and you all got to meet in one room, or you got to all go meet down at the lobby bar, or you got to go off site to do your scorecard analysis and just deciding all the bets here at Reunion. Lots of times, these 8, 10, 12 bedroom homes they have so much more common space there. So then all the golfers will congregate over to, we'll call the party house, or whatever you want to call it, and settle their bets, cook out. We also have chefs that can come and help you out with that component, but it's really convenient. So that part of the golf game, which is so important, it's in a relaxed atmosphere. all these homes have, really big high-definition TVs, all the amenities that really make the home special. And I would say it's almost feels like an upgrade. Anytime you go on vacation, it's always fun to go to a really nice place and help and hang out. And for those of the golfers that are, they don't have, some of the golfers are aging a little bit out there, and they don't necessarily play the 36 holes, 218 rounds in one day that a lot of golfers are doing nowadays. At least after that first 18-hole round, they can go back, relax in their own jacuzzi, or just have a nice place to hang out and wait for the other groups to come in and hang out in the evening part of it. And not only that, we also have, restaurants. We got a rooftop bar overlooking, and like you said earlier with Epcot, you can see the Epcot and Disney fireworks. We're easily less than 10 minutes away from all the Disney attractions. So a really neat place to come to experience your golf and vacation getaway for sure.
Now, and I'm glad you touched on some of that stuff, because whenever I'm in town, usually I come in, I play golf, I go to the PGA show, whatever, and I don't truly get to take advantage of all the other things that are there. And I know that there are other things. There's activities for people who don't play golf. I've seen signs that there's some sort of a water park, I believe, maybe for the kids, and I'm assuming there's a spa somewhere. Why don't you fill me in on any of the other little things that are available for when you're not playing golf, or if you have family members that perhaps don't play golf?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like you said, we have a full 5-acre water park where you have a lazy river. You have a big slide for the kids and the grown-ups to go down to. We also have a separate kiddie area that the little kids, like under the age of 7 or 8, can go down in their own little mini water park with a huge bucket that fills up in water and dumps on you every few minutes. 6 tennis courts. They're all the true clay style, really nice. And not only that water park, we also have 11 other pools around the community. Each community in Reunion Resort has its own, we'll call it community pool, and a lot of them have some nice features as hot tubs, or there's another little kids feature. Really, really dynamic. And not only that, just when you walk in the gates from Reunion, and it's such a convenient get off the exit. You get off that I-4 exit, you're less than a mile to the gates of Reunion. Once you walk in, there's so many walking paths. We got opportunities to rent bikes, those 4-pedal bikes, which are always kind of fun for the kids. And not only that, like I said, we have unbelievable steakhouse that we got voted some really high accolades in Orlando market, as well as our chef, our sushi chef. People come back just for him multiple times. So a really great place to come. We just had some guests here from Iceland, believe it or not, and they're here for 2 weeks. And I said, hey, have you had a chance to go out and experience some of the other Orlando culture? And they said, no, we just hung out here. We love it here. So
it's funny. I was
really
just
cool
talking about the Northern Lights in Iceland. So we're always talking about people that live here in Florida and want to get away someplace unique. And you don't stop and think that the same people from there, they're dying to come here, So it's,
oh yeah,
it's very, very fun to talk about travel from either direction. But, now also for those of you who truly love, the resort when they visit it, obviously this is not just a resort. People own homes there as well. So, I mean, if you fall in love with it, I'm assuming that the homeowners have opportunities to be club members as well and take advantage of all this too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the cool thing about Reunion is that we are a full private resort. So you have to stay there and to play there, as well as our club membership. So we reserve golf courses each day for the club members. The nice thing about our units is that they're all privately owned. So let's say, for example, somebody, and we've had this happen multiple times, a foursome, eightsome of golfers come down from, XYZ, northern climate states, come on down. They love it so much. They invest themselves into a home or a private condo. Then you can throw it right back to us. We have our own rental pool that then we manage that condo or house for that club member. And then there's a little revenue share. So in the end, it hopefully helps pay for a lot of their expenses. And then they can come down and use it quite more often. And that's where we really develop some good partnerships up with some good quality members and guests through the years. And it's a fantastic time. So it's if you even like the club membership part of it, we just hosted our big member guests. We host, of course, all of our quintessential club championships and all that good stuff. So we're still a full private club member as well as the resort. The club members also like the resort atmosphere. You got the rooftop bar, you got other bars. So I'm not saying some of those other stale private clubs don't have that type of atmosphere, but they don't. And here at Reunion, we can offer that for both the guests and the members.
And on more than one occasion, I've been paired with some of your the folks that own homes over there and that are members, and they've been lovely. So you have a really nice group of people there as well. So, all right, well, we're just about out of time. So one last time, why don't you give everybody your website? Because obviously there's so much information. We can't cover all of it, but that would be the best place for people to find out more about Reunion Resort. So how would they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really simple, reunionresort.com. All the information's on there, anywhere from the club membership, answers, Q&As, all the way to all our golf packages and everything else that we have to offer here. So come and check us out. Come and say you saw Kevin there, and I'll get you an extra special gift from me, and I appreciate your time on the phone here.
Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you. Like I say, I always have a good time there. You guys are just very hospitable, and you roll out the red carpet to everybody. So whether you're in the media like me or you're a visitor, you're going to enjoy it there. So I wholeheartedly endorse Reunion. So, and thanks for coming on with us, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the time.
All righty, what we're going to do is take one last break, and then we are going to be back, and we'll be talking with the number 1 ranked table tennis woman in the U.S., Lily Zhang. You don't want to miss that, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we are back, and very fortunately, I had an opportunity yesterday to visit my good friend who's been on the show with us before, and that's U.S. national coach for table tennis, Scott Price. You can look him up at pingpongman.com, and he has the chance to travel around the world and put on exhibitions so that folks can watch top-level table tennis, and puts on a pretty good show as well. But this time, he happened to have had 2 Olympic players, U.S. Olympic players, playing with him. Tim Wang, who was on the men's team, just back from Rio, as well as the number 1 ranked women's player, Lily Zhang. And I had an opportunity to hang out with them, hit a few balls, look really bad, but watching them was just breathtaking. So fortunately, Lily agreed to come on the show, and we could talk a little bit about her experiences, and it's not every day that you talk to somebody who can say that they've been on the U.S. Olympic team. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Lily Zhang. Lily, are you there?
I am.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in tonight, taking a little bit out of your time. I know you've got a very busy schedule.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So let's well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what you do when you're not playing table tennis. I understand that you're studying at a university right now?
That's right. I go to Berkeley.
Okay. And obviously that's a difficult task unto itself. So how do you find the time, and what kind of time does it actually take to play table tennis at a level that puts you at number 1 in the country?
It definitely takes a lot of time to play table tennis at the highest level. I know because last year I actually took a year off from university, and, I traveled the world. I trained in Austria, and I played all kinds of international tournaments, practicing about 6 to 7 hours a day. So that's kind of the time and the effort it takes to be one of the best in the world and in the country. And then now that I'm in university, I definitely have to balance both education and table tennis. So it's a lot harder and takes a lot of sacrifice, but it's definitely worth it.
Now, can you explain a little bit? I kind of know how table tennis is in the United States, and it's obviously different in other parts of the world, which, of course, is why you go elsewhere to train and improve your game. But some people in this country maybe don't understand, how the relation is, in Europe or in Asia with table tennis. It's kind of like football or baseball here, right?
Yeah, definitely. Table tennis is actually the national sport of China. So, it's huge there. It's like the equivalent of, exactly like football here. It's everyone plays it. It's everywhere. And it's definitely interesting to compare the two between, U.S. and China. And I think the sport is definitely growing in the U.S. And, I'm excited to see it continue to flourish. And hopefully maybe one day it'll reach the same level as in China.
Now, do you have plans to have a lifelong career in table tennis, or are you studying at the university because this is something you're going to do for a period of time and then you're going to move on to something else?
For For now, I'm in university and I'm doing both. I was actually recently just debating whether or not I should go pro next year because I've had a few offers from, a few different leagues in Europe and Asia. It's definitely, not going to be a decision I take lightly because, first of all, I value my education very, very strongly. But at the same time, I love table tennis. I want to play it as much as I can. But for now, it's not something that I can do full-time in the U.S.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience in Rio. Now, as we just mentioned, obviously coming from the U.S., some of the competition in other parts of the world can be a little bit difficult, but you got off to a pretty good start there, didn't you?
Yeah, Rio was a great experience for me. I played quite well as well. I made the third round in the competition, which is 17 out of 70 players, so I was definitely very satisfied with my performance.
I would have to assume that everybody was very satisfied that was like a surprise. Obviously, when you talk to most athletes, the people we see on TV are the people that, win the gold medals. That's who gets interviewed. And, that's typically they're the favorites or, it's rare that a tremendous underdog does something like that. But as an athlete, obviously you always have to believe in yourself. So, do you go in there thinking I'm winning gold, or do you say, hey, if I can, win a few of my events and finish in the top 17 or whatever, boy, am I going to be excited?
For me, it's definitely both because I always want to visualize, doing the best I can, getting the best result I can. And if that's winning a gold medal, then that's what I'll, think about before the match. But at the same time, I always make sure to, not put too much pressure on myself and just kind of work through the tough spots and just try my absolute best out there.
Now, for everyone who's listening and perhaps hasn't seen table tennis played at your level, obviously I got to see a little bit yesterday and experience a little bit. But why don't you explain to everybody a little bit? I know our friend Scott, he was talking about the amount of time that you have to react and some of the other specifics about, the serves and the spin, just to give them a little context as to the kind of game that we're talking about.
Yeah, so not a lot of people know, how much time and effort people have to put in to be great at table tennis. You can't really see the spin on the ball, but there's a tremendous amount of spin every single time you hit it or serve it. And balls can travel up to, 100 miles an hour, so you have to be super, super fast at reacting and have super quick reflexes. And also it's just so much footwork and physical time and effort that goes into the game. And, not a lot of people know about that.
Now, another question. We were having some fun yesterday, and you were playing your teammate, Tim, and I think that match you actually beat him. So, obviously this was an exhibition, but how different is it, between the sexes, between the women's and the men's? Do you have a chance to beat the best men player, or there's just no way?
Well, there definitely is a little bit of a difference. Tim and I, yesterday, we were just playing an exhibition match, so we weren't.
He was being nice to you, is that what you're telling me?
It looked good, But at the same time, I think it's interesting that table tennis is a sport where, both men and women can play each other, and it's not as perhaps wide of a margin as other sports would be between the different sexes. So, there are a ton of tournaments that, especially in the U.S., where, men and women play against each other, and women do have a good chance of, beating the men.
Now for
table, it's awesome.
Well, for table tennis players, and this is interesting, it just kind of dawned on me, it's kind of similar to golf in a way whereby, you have a handicap system and you can play people who are much better than you or not as good as you because of the handicap system, but you have like a point system. So, people move up and down with points, and so basically a much better player can play a much weaker player, and they could be a male or a female, and it's all based on points, correct?
Exactly. So, like in tournaments, there could be events where it's like under 2,500, and both men and women can play, but they would be around the same level because,
right,
their point system would be similar.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, since we also cover travel here, and since you had mentioned that you get to travel the world working on your game, where's your favorite place to be?
I would say one of my favorite countries that I visited is either, Japan or South Africa. South Africa was one of my first international tournaments. I think it was 10 years old. So traveling all the way across the world to a whole other country and experiencing their culture and meeting different people was such an incredible experience for me. And it definitely opened up my eyes to a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
And then Japan, I just love Japan because the people there are so polite. They have so much, interesting technologies and fashion, and it's so cool for me to see.
So are we going to see you competing again in 4 years, the Olympics?
I hope so. For now, I'm going to try to finish this year of university, and then I'll see whether or not I go pro the next year and then go all out for Tokyo and hopefully get that gold medal.
If any of our listeners would like to follow you, are you on social media? Is there through the U.S. table tennis? Is there a way that they could keep up with what you're up to?
Yeah, I post regularly on social media. I have a Facebook page, just Lily Zhang, table tennis, and then I have an Instagram page as well, at Lily Z, and a Twitter page as well.
Well, we'll all be keeping an eye on you, and hopefully I'll get to see you at another exhibition sometime soon as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, thank you so much.
Next time.
Thank you so much, and continued success with your studies as well as your table tennis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. All right, what we're going to do is just about over. So I'm glad that I threw out all of those deals for you. Next week, unfortunately, I think I'll be on the road again, so you may be hearing a previously recorded show, unfortunately, but they're all good, so that's what we do. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Golf and Travel Show. Like the page. We'll send you updates when I book all the guests, and you'll know who are going to be on. And we'll be back again soon with another Golf and Travel Show.
And every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound.
You have been listening to the Golf and Travel Show, hosted by Dan Shub, heard live every Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. on 1470 WWNN, and replayed every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 740 a.m. WSBR. Visit the show on Facebook and tune in next week. If you are in South Florida or traveling the world, hit 'em straight. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Me and my old lady ain't been getting along. Things don't get better. I'll soon be long gone. The situation is driving me insane. Somebody touch my coat and hat, hand me my walking cane. Gotta put on my driving shoes. Gotta put on my...
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Florida knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I'm working 2 jobs, and my husband works too. My kids go to school with your kids. I sit next to you at PTA meetings. We live right next door. We've been neighbors for years. You know my family and me pretty well, but here's one thing you don't know. I'm 1 out of every 6 Americans, and my family is struggling with hunger. Like you, we believe in this country. What's hard to believe is in the land of milk and honey, how many hardworking Americans have to choose between paying bills and feeding their families. This is a problem with a solution. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for those around you quietly struggling with hunger. Together,